Hello everybody, Sorbeaten here and welcome back to another past paper video. In this video I will be tackling some algebra questions, so let's head straight into the first one. So the question says, factorize completely. And I have the first one and it's 2p squared minus 7p plus 3. And I want to factorize this one completely. So in this case, I have a quadratic, it's a quadratic expression, never mind the p and so on, it's a quadratic. So this will be, I'll use the AC method. So it will be a multiplied by c. So I see a would be the number in front of the x squared term. In this case, it's p squared. So it will be 2 multiplied by c, which is the number by itself, which is 3. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. So I want two numbers. When I multiply, I should get 6. And when I add, I should get negative 7. So I will do negative 6 multiplied by negative 1, which will give me a positive 6. And negative 6 plus negative 1 would be negative 7. So this here will turn into a negative. So it's negative 6 instead of plus negative 1, it will be negative 6 minus 1. So I will replace this here in place of this. So I will now have 2p squared minus 6. Now instead of just 6, I'll add on the p. It's actually plus minus, but I know this will turn into a minus. It's minus 1p. Now instead of 1p, we know in algebra you don't write new 1. So I will remove this 1 and then plus 3. So now I pair off and then I factorize this bracket. So I see in the bracket, I see the first of all the number 2 and 6. I see that those two numbers have a common factor of 2. Then I see the other one, p squared and p, and those two, they have a common factor of p. So when I factor out 2p from 2p squared, I'm left with p minus. When I factor out 2p from 6p, so 6p divided by 2p, this p will cancel with that p, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I look at the second bracket. So I see first thing I want to factor out is a negative, and I don't see anything in common, so I will factor out 1. So I factor out negative 1. So when I factor out negative 1 from this here, I'll be simply left with p. When I factor out negative 1 from positive 3, a positive divided by a negative is a negative, so this will be minus 3. So now I'll have the two brackets are the same, so that means I'm going correct. So I'll take what is outside the bracket and I'll put it in the brackets. This will be 2p minus 1 in one bracket and p minus 3 in the other bracket. And this is how I get my marks here. All right, so the next expression says, so we have 5p plus 5q plus p squared minus q squared. So I want to factorize this. So I see immediately if I factorize this now, if I pair off and I factorize, I will end up with, let's say I pair off this, factorize, I pull out the 5, I'll be left with p plus q. I factor out the plus 1 here, we left with p squared minus q squared. And my two brackets are not the same, so that is absolutely wrong. I can't go that. So what I will do, let's examine these expressions or these terms carefully. So let's say if I pair off this and I pair off this, so let's factorize the two brackets. So when I factorize this first bracket, I see 5 is common, so I factor out the 5. Then I will left with p plus q. But look at this second bracket. I have p squared minus q squared. So I have a squared term and I have another squared term. So I have two terms that are squared and then they are subtracting each other. So I know what I can do. I'll put a plus. What I can do, I can factorize this as difference of 2 squared. So this will now be p plus q and p minus q. So this will be, so I open two brackets, difference of 2 squared. So I ask myself, what can I multiply by itself to give p squared? So I know that is p, so I put a p there and I put a p there. Go to the second term, what can I multiply by itself to give you q? I put, what can I multiply by itself to give you q squared? I know that will be q, so I put q there and q there. So in one bracket I'll add, and the other bracket I will subtract. So now I have difference of 2 squared. So what I can do now, the final step would be, now we have 3 terms, but as you can see, these two So now we have the last step in which we put what is inside the bracket, we put that down, but in this case you see two brackets are the same, so we will just write back one of those brackets. So this will be P plus Q in the other bracket, and then in the other bracket we will put back what remains. So this will be P minus Q, but we see this 5 here is adding, so we will add the 5 to this. This will be plus 5. So this will be P plus Q in one bracket and P minus Q plus 5. And here's the thing, how can we be sure that we factorize this correctly? So what we can do, we can use a distributive law, and we should get back what we have at the top here. So let's do, so this will be, take the first piece, this will be P multiplied by P minus Q plus 5, and then this will be plus Q multiplied by everything in that bracket, which will be P minus Q plus 5. So I multiply, so P times P will be P squared, P times negative Q would be negative PQ, P times 5 would be plus 5P, and Q times P would be plus PQ, Q times a negative Q would be a negative Q squared, Q times 5 would be a plus 5Q. And then we know we can put the like terms together to make it look like what is at the top here. So we'll have 5P, which is this, plus 5Q, which is this, plus P squared, which is this, minus Q squared, which is this, and I have minus PQ plus PQ, and then this will cancel out and be 0. So I know this will cancel out and be 0, so this will go, and I have exactly what I have at the top here, so that means I did factorize correctly. So that's how you can check to make sure you factorize correctly, and that is how I get my 2 marks. So this question is kind of different, but it's very simple. So let me erase this here. This is just a working to show that we factorize correctly. So this one says expand, and we have x plus 3 squared multiplied by x minus 4. Write in your answer in descending powers of x. And this is going for 3 marks. So what I will do first, I will square this bracket. So I'll have x plus 3 in one bracket and x plus 3 in the other one. So I'll multiply this. This will be x, this term here, multiplied by everything here, which will be x plus 3. Then I'll put back the plus 3 multiplied by everything in this bracket again, which will be x plus 3. So I multiply, x times x will be x squared, x times 3 will be plus 3x, and 3 times x will be plus 3x, and 3 times 3 would be plus 9. And then I simplify this, so this will be x squared plus 6x plus 9, and then all of this now will be multiplied by x minus 4. So I will write this and put x minus 4 multiplied by x squared plus 6x plus 9. So I'll do the same thing like what I did. I'll take the first term, which is x, and I'll multiply by everything here, which will be x squared plus 6x plus 9. And I take the minus 4 and I multiply by everything, which will be x squared plus 6x plus 9. So I multiply x times x squared would be x to the third power. X times 6x will be plus 6x squared. And x times 9 will be plus 9x. Now this would be negative 4 times x squared would be negative 4x squared. And negative 4 times 6 would be a negative 4 times 6 is 24x. And negative 4 times 9 would be a negative 36. So now I put the like terms together. So I'll have now x cubed plus 6x squared minus 4x squared. And I can put the plus 9x minus 24x minus 36. So I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this, and I have this, and I have this. So this will be x cubed. So 6x squared minus 4x squared, that would be a plus 2x squared. And I have 9x minus 24, that would be a minus 15x. And then I minus 36. And this is my answer when I arrange it in descending powers of x. I put the one with the highest power, I put that first, and this is my answer for 3 marks. So it's a lot of marks. This is a different question than what you're accustomed to seeing, but it's Very simple. And with that, this has brought me to the end of this video, and I trust that you have a good understanding of these kind of questions, and I'll see you in the next video in which I'll be tackling more questions. So keep practicing and take care.